Hey guys, Battlefield Hardline. Wasn't impressed with the trailers when I saw them. I'm like, they're doing yearly. What the fuck? And someone who's going to dismiss this game as being a cash cow alone, because let's face it, it's a cash cow. But it being a cash cow alone is really doing it a disservice. A lot of my friends that are really big Battlefield fans are kind of disappointed in it because it's not horribly innovative, and it doesn't take anything away from the core Battlefield experience. It just feels out of place at times. But I'm going to make this point throughout my impressions here, and you're going to hear me say this a lot more as time goes on. I would rather have a Battlefield game that introduces new concepts of gameplay and fail over a safe, barely patched Battlefield 4 skin. You know what I mean? Foreskin. Alright, you take that one and run with it, I guess. But essentially, Battlefield Hardline is what it basically, it's a stripped down version of like Payday. Like Payday as far as it being cops and robbers, and there's money involved. And then the Battlefield core mechanics. Now, I want to make this clear. The beta that we're playing is multiplayer only, there's no story. Visceral is taking care of this, and these are the guys that worked on the original Dead Space game, and they know how to tell a fucking story. So I think, and I hope, that the route they're going for is that these every other year Battlefields are going to be more story-driven and have a good multiplayer component, and the DICE Battlefields will be the ones we're used to, where the campaign's good. Not great, but good. Serves as basically a tutorial and a way of showing you all the weapons and things you can do in the game. The multiplayer is amazing. Alright? That's what I think they're trying to do, and that's what I hope they're trying to do. That being said, the multiplayer for Battlefield Hardline is what you would expect, with some tweaks that really make it cool. My disappointment doesn't come from how the game plays. It comes from these innovations that they have had that Battlefield 4 doesn't have. So, it's a good thing. The one that I keep talking about all the time to my friends is the spawn. Like, when you go to spawn, choosing where you're going is much clearer. You have a better preview screen of where you're going to be. It's really well done. I think that it's a huge improvement over what was done in the past. They integrated squad joining from the get-go. Like, that's a first thing. And this is without, like a lot of people say, oh, it's got the same glitches that Battlefield 4 does. Yeah, because it doesn't have the patches that Battlefield 4 got. And they're going to integrate those patches into the beta and also ultimately the game to try and make it even smoother. And it runs great. Even as a beta, it runs great. Graphics are a little on the rough side, but not much. It's got some great concepts to it. It's basically a bunch of different versions of capture the flag and objectives, is really what it boils down to. And one of the things that I think is being overlooked is that with the core gameplay, you're not driving tanks around. Tanks and like these big heavy vehicles. You're driving cars and motorcycles and really nimble machines. And there's so much more tactically that opens up when you have these different environments that are much, much more urban. Like, they're all urban. And a different kind of urban. The buildings are more fleshed out. So the maps aren't as big for many reasons, but the maps aren't quite as big, and the cats are acting up, I apologize. The environments may not be as big, but what I've heard from other people that have explored them more, and what I've experienced is that the verticality of the maps is really a huge thing. So you really have to think in 3 dimensions when you're, casing these areas and stuff. So I think the gameplay is solid. I think that it's a step in the right direction, if not a true step up from Battlefield 4. But it's definitely not a step back, as I was worried it would be. If the cops and robbers idea really bothers you, then seriously, just don't fucking play the game. Just don't, because it's not that kind of Battlefield. It's got Battlefield core gameplay. This is the kind of game that's for people that love the way Battlefield plays, but are a little bit sick of putting on the helmet and doing things that way. It's got some great concepts to it. I know that I'm being general, and it's mainly because not all the features are implemented yet. It's not finished. I don't like giving full reviews on alphas and betas. So before anyone complains about that, fuck off and wait till the game comes out. I will review it. Okay? Okay. So there you go. It's good. And I think it has great promise. And I'm hoping that we're seeing a true... Like, in Call of Duty's heyday, when you had Modern Warfare and World at War arguably being, back and forth, were quite good games. Or even Modern Warfare and Black Ops, where it was just different iterations of the game that did very well back to back for a couple years. I'm hoping that this is the same kind of thing we're going to see, because if we have to endure a yearly version of Battlefield, let's hope that it is at least something that's a step up in the way that I feel Battlefield is a step up from what Call of Duty has always been. So, hoping so. And I saw Battlefront footage from E3, and that looks amazing. DICE was working on that. So, I think we have yet to see the best of what can be done with the Battlefield model. And even with a different studio tackling it, I think that Hardline, at least in beta form, is proof that the core mechanics of what make a Battlefield game good are something that EA is not prepared to fuck with. So, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, keep on grinding, guys. Later.